everybody. Happy World Day of Puppetry. It's Tanya Yeager with Twisted Heart Puppet Works. And today on World Day of Puppetry, since we're all in isolation and I can't perform for you live, I would love to be able to do something on video. So I'm in the Yeager garage, AKA Twisted Heart Puppet Works studio, getting ready to do the Nachtmara, which is a Shadows for One piece. And Shadows for One is miniature shadows. So here is my set. I'll give you a little glimpse of that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm super excited to start this, and I hope you love it. Thanks.
Once, on the outskirts of the Black Forest in Germany, there lived a woodworker. His name was Klaus Reingroft, and he was the best woodcarver in all the region. Klaus's ancestors had been kings who lived in stunning castles, but Klaus preferred his little house in the forest near all the beautiful trees. Klaus spent his days making wooden toys and puppets for the children in the village, and he made their parents beautiful furniture. He always looked on the families in the village with a tinge of longing, for he desperately wanted a family of his own. One evening, very weary from the work of the day, Klaus went off to bed, and once he was asleep, he had the most frightening dream. He dreamt that a raven flew past the house and dropped a single black feather. The feather floated into the window and alighted on his chest. Once it landed, Klaus could not move. And it did not feel like a feather at all, but a 1,000-pound weight crushing his chest. Klaus could not breathe, and indeed, he woke in a pool of his own sweat and coughing in panic. 3 more times he had this dream, and each day Klaus woke up weaker and more ill than the day before. So he decided to visit the old Vita Vivin, or wise woman, who lived down the road to ask her advice.
Please, Vita Vivin, tell me what to do. I am becoming ill from these dreams, and I am afraid I will die.
And so you shall if you do not act quickly. You are being visited by the Nachtmara, a nightmare. She is a witch, and she means to kill you and take your house. She comes in the form of some animal and enters through a small hole in your home. Tonight, you must lie and wait and catch her and then stop her up the hole. Then you must kill her and be done with it, for if you let her live, she will surely have her wish one way or another.
Klaus traveled home, uncertain about killing anything, as violence did not suit his nature, but he was relieved to have a plan. That night, Klaus lay in bed, eating small bits of sugar to keep himself awake. When the clock struck midnight, things in his home became very strange. A frightful wind picked up and lifted his bed sheets. He felt the house grow to freezing temperatures, and in the corner, a candelabra danced in midair. Klaus lay very still, pretending to sleep, and he saw a sleek black cat enter his home from a small hole near the back door. The cat crept over to the bed and paused only a moment before jumping up onto Klaus's chest and began to crush him. Klaus wasted no time but jumped up and captured the cat. He took it to the dining table and quickly nailed down one of its paws onto the wood, where it stayed quite trapped. The cat howled and hissed, and, most satisfied with his catch, Klaus stoppered up the hole by the back door and went off to bed. He would decide whether to kill the cat in the morning. He slept very well that night. In the morning, Klaus rose from his bed, and he could barely believe his eyes. He went to the kitchen to look for the cat, but in its place lay the most beautiful naked woman he had ever seen, and her hand lay firmly nailed to the wooden table. When she woke, her eyes stared at him in terror, but Klaus found her visage so pleasing, and desire rose from his body and mind. He assured her firmly.
No, no, do not be afraid, young miss. I will not be harming you. I shall marry you, and you shall care for me and bear me sons. It is the least you can do for trying to kill me.
The young woman bowed her head and said nothing. So Klaus married the woman, and he had 3 beautiful children with her. For 5 years, she was quiet, obedient, and obliging to her familial duties. One day, whilst playing in the home, Klaus's elder son uncovered a hole near the baseboards by the back door. Papa, Mama, was ist das? I can see outside. Klaus mused as he looked at his wife.
That, my son, is where your lovely mother entered my home, and then I made her my wife.
No sooner had Klaus said the words than the woman hissed at him and immediately transformed into the black cat. She slipped out the hole and disappeared across the field before her husband or children ever knew what was happening. Klaus Reingroft was left alone for just 6 days before all 3 of his children inexplicably died in their beds during the night. On the eve of the 7th night, Klaus awoke to strange fire consuming the walls of his home. Trapped inside with the smoke choking his lungs, Klaus looked through the blaze and out the window. The last thing he saw before the flames overtook him was a sleek black cat bounding away through the tall grasses and disappearing into the dark wood.
Hey, so that was the Nachtmara. That is a Shadows for One, which is Shadows in miniature, written and recorded by myself and my husband, Chuck Yeager. As you may have noticed, Shadows for One don't necessarily end on a super up note for the main character. So I do have a little bit of a morbid streak. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed that. The Nachtmara, the idea for the Nachtmara comes from German folklore, and the Nachtmara isn't actually, it means nightmare, and it's not necessarily a bad dream, but a person, a witch, or a night hag. The Nachtmara, just like in this story, in folklore, can change into a small animal and come in through a hole in your house and cause sleep paralysis or bad dreams or try to kill you in your sleep. So yeah, that is the Nachtmara. I love that show. Super fun to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be showing some small photographs just after this of my set, and I can talk a little bit about that as well. All right, have a good one.